Hello students. In the previous two lectures, we have discussed about the powders. So powders have been finished. So now next unit is liquid dosage form. So in this unit, uh, we will discuss about the dosage forms which are present in the liquid form. So let us see the objectives of this chapter. So after completion of this chapter, uh, you will know about the following aspects. First of all, we will study what are the liquid dosage forms, uh, whether they are for internal use or external use, and why these drugs dosage form or liquid dosage form is so much popular. So what are the various problems occurring in the formulation and various types of these dosage forms, their method of preparation, stability aspects and evaluation and uses. Structure is first one is introduction. So advantages of liquid dosage forms and disadvantages of liquid dosage form. So classification of liquid dosage form and monophasic liquid dosage form, its definition, brief account, and problems in the monophasic liquid dosage form. In case of solubility, we will study about the solubilization, pH modification, hydrotrophy, co-solvency, complexation, chemical modification, viscosity, appearance, sterility, preservation, taste and flavor, stability, tonicity, and theoretical aspects including use of vesicles and essential additives, surfactants, vesicles or vehicles, coloring agents, hydrocolloids, stabilizers and flavoring agents, and then is sweetening agents. Then next is formulation and practical methods. Formulation of liquid and for internal administration. First one is simple mixture and concentrates, syrups and elixirs. And formulation of liquid for external use. Gargles, mouthwashes, throat paints, dutches, enemas, eardrops, nasal drops and spray, liniments and lotions. Biphasic liquid dosage form. First one is suspension, in which advantages of suspension and disadvantages of suspension and ideal properties of suspension, which includes interfacial properties of suspended particles and electrokinetics of the system, settling in suspensions, caking and fluctuation, and micrometrics or particle size and flow property of suspensions. Types of suspension, which include suspension containing diffusible solid, suspension containing indiffusible solid, suspensions containing poorly wettable solids, and suspensions of precipitate forming liquids, and dispersion of oils in inhalations, and suspensions produced by chemical reaction. Next is ophthalmic and parenteral suspension, preparation of controlled flocculation, suspension, and evaluation of suspension. First one is determination of rate of sedimentation. Then we will study about the determination of viscosity and determination of zeta potential and determination of particle size. Then we will study about the labeling, packaging and storage of suspension, and then we will study the emulsions, in which we will study about the types of emulsions, identification test for emulsion, pharmacological application of emulsions, problems in emulsion, and theory of emulsion. So in case of theory of emulsion, we will study about the surface tension theory, oriented wedge theory, and plastic or interfacial film theory, charge repulsion theory, and steric repulsion theory. And then there will be emulsifying agents, in which synthetic emulsifying agents and miscellaneous emulsifying agents, and third one will be solid cell emulsifying agents. Then next will be HLB system, which include formulation of emulsion and preparation of emulsion, which have liquid emulsion. In case of liquid emulsion, we will study about the emulsion for internal use and emulsion for external use. Then in case of semi-solid emulsion, steroid creams, soft creams, anionic emulsifying wax creams, cationic emulsifying wax creams, and creams emulsified with non-ionic surfactant. Then in case of inability of emulsion, cracking in emulsion, and creaking in emulsion, and phase inversion in emulsion. So next, in the last, we'll study about the stability testing of emulsion. So that was the introduction about this chapter. We have just talked about the but we will study in this chapter. So let us start this unit with the first of all with very introduction. So first of all, what are the liquid dosage forms? So these are the forms which are mostly oh, yeah. So the liquid dosage forms are mostly preferred to children and infants who find difficulty in swallowing solid dosage forms. So no doubt they lack in stability parameter of active drugs, and they are very much popular amongst the prescription of doctors in lieu of their other aesthetic properties. So the liquid dosage forms are prepared by dissolving active ingredients in an aqueous or non-aqueous solvent, by suspending the drug or by incorporating the drug into one of the two phases of an oil and water systems. They have a number of advantages and disadvantages. So advantages of liquid dosage form: drug is rapidly available for absorption. They are the most suitable dosage form for infants, children, geriatric or mentally disturbed patients, and they are suitable for those drugs which create irritation in GIT if given in dry forms. Examples are bromides and iodides. So in case of homogeneous solutions, they assure uniformity of dosage, and doses can easily be varied as per the requirement of the patients, and bitter and obnoxious drugs can be given in sweetened, colored and flavored vehicles. So next will be hygroscopic and delicate medicaments which are not suitably dispensed in solid dosage forms and can easily be given in liquid dosage form. And because of their aesthetic properties, they create good appeal and beneficial psychological effect on patients. So next will be disadvantages of liquid dosage forms. So the liquid dosage forms bulky and therefore inconvenient to carry, transport and store. So the stability of medicament in ecosystem is poorer than if they were formulated as solid dosage forms. So particularly when the medicament is susceptible to hydrolysis. So two incompatible drugs cannot be given together as it is possible in case of solid dosage forms. So there are chances of variation in the doses since patients use the measure at the time of taking dose. So sometimes they might be in hurry and do not bother the accuracy of the dose. So the liquids provide suitable media for the growth of microorganisms and therefore require suitable preservative. And pleasant taste sometimes becomes hazardous amongst the children since there might be chances of overdoses, and in case of accidental breakage of the container it may result in loss of the whole of the dosage form. So also liquid requires dispersion, that is suspension and emulsion. They require additional adjuncts like suspending agents, flocculating agents, viscosity increasing agents and emulsifying agents, etc. to maintain the stability of the product. Thus a pharmacist has to handle many ingredients at a time. So they acquire large volume of one dose as compared to solid dosage form, and sweetened liquors contain sugar as a sweetening agent. They are not recommended for diabetic patients. So let us look at the classification of liquid dosage forms. So liquid dosage forms can be of two types: monophasic liquid form and biphasic liquid forms. So in case of monophasic liquid dosage forms, they are for oral use, for external use, for special use and for parenteral use. For oral use, there will be simple mixture and concentrates, syrups, elixirs, drops, tinctures, spirits and draughts. And for external use, lotion, liniments and collodions. For special use, gargles, mouthwashes, throat paints, nasal drops and sprays, duchess, enemas, eye drops, eye lotion, ear drops, inhalation and aerosol. For biphasic liquid dosage form, it will be divided into two types: emulsions and suspensions. Emulsion will be liquid in liquid and suspension will be solid in liquid. In case of emulsion, there are oral use, for external use and for parenteral use. Also there are for oral use there are emulsion, for external use they application lotion, liniments and enema. And in case of suspension for oral use, mixtures with diffusible solid, mixture with diffusible solid and precipitates forming mixtures. Their application will be eye drops in the eye. So now we have to discuss about the monophasic liquid dosage form. So as the word monophasic suggests that this system contains only one phase, no matter components might be minimum two or more than two. Henceforth, this can be divided as a homogeneous one-phase system consisting of two or more components. One phase is the solvent and the other one is the solute. So solutes might be one or more than one. So in general, the solvent is present in the large quantity, but there are few exceptions like simple syrup, Indian Pharmacopoeia, which contains 66.7% weight by weight of sucrose and 33.3% weight by water, which is solvent. And in case of monophasic liquid dosage forms, they are the simplest form of presenting medication for rapid absorption of the drug, and they are dispensed for various purposes as shown in the following section. So definition of different forms are discussed in the next subsection. Then definition and brief count. First of all, we will discuss about the mixtures and concentrates. So they are dilute or concentrated monophasic preparations intended for oral administration in which drug is dissolved in a suitable vehicle. So the most suitable vehicle for this form of dosage is water because of its lack of toxicity, physiological compatibility and its ability to dissolve a wide range of material. So purified water, IP, that is Indian Pharmacopoeia, freshly boiled and cooled, is widely used instead of potable water to avoid any undesirable effects of fines oftenly present in potable water. So generally they are supplied in multi-dose airtight and light resistant containers bearing proper labels. So labels must contain information like drugs content, alcohol content if present in each 5 ml of dose, storage conditions, batch number, manufacturing license number, manufacturing date, expiry date and name and address of the manufacturer. Then the concentrates are required to be diluted before use. Include concentrated aromatic waters which are diluted to produce aromatic waters to be used as vehicles in the liquid preparations. Then next will be syrups. So they are the sweetened viscous concentrated solutions of sucrose or other sugar and water or any other suitable aqueous vehicle. So syrups are further classified into two classes: simple flavored syrups, when syrups do not contain any medicament but contain some aromatic or pleasantly flavored substances. So these syrups are used as a vehicle for other liquid preparations to mask the disagreeable taste of medicament. Then next is medicated syrups. So when syrups contain some medicinal substances along with the other additives, then simple flavored syrups are supplied in bulk volumes. So while medicated syrups are supplied in small volumes and in airtight and in light resistant bottles or other containers bearing proper labels. So label must contain all necessary information as discussed in mixtures. Then the elixirs, so they are clear flavored, sweetened or hydroalcohol liquid preparation for oral administration. So the percentage of alcohol varies from 4 to 40%. So elixirs are classified into two classes. First one is non-medicated elixirs. So when elixirs do not contain any medicament but contain some aromatic or pleasantly flavored substances, so these elixirs are used as vehicle for other liquid preparations. The next is medicated elixirs. So when elixirs contain some medicinal substances along with other additives. So next we will talk about the medicated elixirs. They are usually contain potent and nauseous drugs like antibiotics, antihistaminics, antitussives, and sedatives. And the bitter and nauseous taste of these drugs is masked up to certain limit due to presence of flavoring and sweetening agents in hydroalcoholic medium, so that it can easily be taken by the patient of children group. So due to presence of alcohol, few advantages are provided to the preparations, uh, which are like solubility of drug is enhanced and no chance of microbial growth and no need of adding preservatives if called alcohol quantity is more than 20%. So if the pharmacist thinks that a particular dose cannot be provided to the patient due to lack of drug solubility in syrups, he can go forward for the formulation elixirs for the same drug. So non-medicated elixirs are supplied in bulk volumes, while medicated elixirs are supplied in small volumes and in airtight and light resistant bottles and other containers bearing proper labels. As such, labels of elixir should contain all requirement as discussed in syrups. But one most important point here is the amount of alcohol content which should be mentioned on the label. So next will be draught. Draughts are a liquid oral preparation of which only one or two large doses, usually 50 ml, are prescribed. So each dose is supplied in a separate bottle. So the medicaments are given in the form of draughts because they deteriorate rapidly and cannot be kept for a long time, and patients are advised to discard if it is not consumed within a required period, and usually expiry period of draughts is 1 or 2 days. So next will be drops. So drops are liquid preparation meant for pediatrics, and generally vitamins and antibiotics are given in the form of drops. So they are supplied in a bottle with calibrated dropper, and drops contain potent drugs, hence measuring of doses should be done carefully. And drops are supplied in small volume containers, example 5 ml to 10 ml. So the label on the drops container must be all necessary requirement for liquid preparation, and the dose must be mentioned in drops, or if at all any dilution is necessary, then dilution ratio must be written on the label. Then there are the linctuses. So linctuses are viscous or a liquid preparation of or leaf of cough, and they contain high proportion of syrup. Very often glycerin is added to the formulation, which provides sweet taste as well as demulcent effect on the mucous membrane of the throat. So it should be taken as such without dilution and must be sipped slowly so as to prolong the action of the drug. And the usual dose of linctuses is 5 ml. So it should be supplied in multi-dose container so as to provide 15 to 20 doses together. So the label must contain all necessary requirements of liquid preparation. Then there will be lotions. So the lotions are the aqueous, oily or alcoholic liquid preparations or suspensions and emulsions, biphasic, intended for external application without friction. So in this section we are considering only monophasic lotions. So they are usually applied on the affected part with the help of some absorbent material such as cotton, wool or gauze, and soaked in the lotion. So the purpose of the lotion is to provide cooling soothing and protective action, and usually lotions contain local anesthetics or antiseptics. So the lotions are supplied in colored fluted bottles in order to uh, distinguish them from preparation meant for internal use. So the labels must contain all necessary requirements of liquid dosage forms. So in addition to those, it must be a directions like for external use only, and keep out of reach of the children, apply without rubbing, and since they are preparation for external use and they do not have any dose column in their labels. So student, that is all for the day. In the next lecture tomorrow we will study about the liniments and collodions. So thank you so much.